Thank you, thank you.
It appears that mornings in Thessaloniki are, people are sleeping, but yeah, we're awake. Cool, thank you all. You can see that we have people and models that are going to help us a bit go through this presentation. So I'm going to keep this on a separate window and perhaps come back here afterwards. Cool. Thank you. Cool. This is me on the right. I was hoping to see the other guy today. He didn't, came, and I picked Kostas to be here. As you can see, the photo is a different. It's you.
It's AI generated.
Okay, cool. Okay, cool. Thank you. Thank you. So I'm Alexis Panousis. I'm a Java chapter lead, Java PHP mobile apps chapter lead for Agile Actors.
And I'm Kostas Sidiropoulos. I'm chapter lead for test automation and DevOps in Agile Actors.
Cool. What we wanted to touch upon today, I think that it's something that I think most of the, not only engineers, but also business people are dealing with when it comes to software, right? If I move on to the next slide, you will see a slide of, sales, okay? Numbers don't really matter. It's just a report that shows sales, projections, predictions, etc. The thing is that, to produce all this stuff, you need data, right? And you need software most potentially in order to get to that state. And I think that, I think it's like pasta, Costa, right? Everyone likes pasta, so everyone likes reports, correct?
That's right.
And we were thinking that in this era that we're through, and with AI trained, the Gen AI actually trained, which is passing because AI has been here since 2003, we wanted to showcase something which is a bit of where we want to go, right? How we used to, and we're still thinking, and how we would like to think as things go by, okay? So this is the use case. Our primary goal is to showcase something. It's going to be a service that exposes an API with orders, users, etc. And which I think not only e-commerce system, every system actually out there needs something like this. Okay, business needs reports. That's always the case. Okay, so this is what we would like to showcase today. So we were going to show users, orders, the database schema. And then one middleware as a service built on Quarkus. We're going to show the tools later on that exposes an API with JSON. Okay, everyone in technology does this. Okay, this is a bit, the sequence diagram of what's going to follow. If anyone is not using Mermaid, I suggest it. Right, it's very handful when you want to have such a sequence diagram inside your code base, okay? You can see that we're focusing on the queries, okay? And this is where we're gonna target, okay? Because this is one of the, parts that we need to fine tune when it comes to, make reports. And as you can see, we will have, a client that invokes, an API on a Quarkus service, gets data from the DB, returns the data. As simple as this. It's a very simple concept, right? But it has some complexities that we're gonna see later on. This is the toolkit, Costa.
Yeah.
You know everything?
No.
Okay, it's fine.
Not everything.
That's good.
Can you help me with that?
I will help you with that, okay? You know Quarkus?
Not only you, but I will also have AI to help me.
That's great. You know Quarkus?
I have used Spring Boot. I have only seen Quarkus when we were doing the presentation.
Okay,
so
okay.
I want to use it now and see how is it, but can you help me?
I will help you. I will help you, of course. Anyone using Quarkus? Except from these guys over there? You're sitting. Thank you very much. Why we will use Quarkus? To be honest, I encountered Quarkus 1.5 years ago, and I was amazed a bit with the easiness that it gave me when it comes to develop code, right? It has this, this seamless development usage, if I can call it that way, that I'm dealing just with the code, nothing else. I'm just, starting my, my Quarkus dev, let's say, thread, and I'm stopping the thread at, at afternoon when I'm leaving, my work. So it's very easy. It has static access on, on whatever I need to do my job very, very, very quickly. Okay, logs, loggers, static access on entities, etc. For proof of concepts, it's for me, it's something that I always want to use in my code. LangChain4j.
For this, to be honest, I have just seen it in LinkedIn when I'm scrolling.
Okay, okay, cool. It's the port of LangChain in Java, now part of Red Hat team, and it's gonna we're gonna use it, Quarkus LangChain4j, to integrate with LLMs. Okay, it's gonna be part of our code base. Open Web UI.
No, sorry for that. It's the first time that I see it.
Okay, cool. I will showcase what this is.
I will use it later on.
You will use it.
Okay.
You will use it. I will first go to Ollama. You know Ollama?
Of course, I hear it every time with ChatGPT in the news.
Okay, great. I mean, you did see a small demo here, right? So Ollama, you will not see it here, of course. You saw me previously running Ollama. Ollama CCP is running on my local machine, and it gives me the ability to run models, open source models on my machine, okay? And we're going to use it in our application to integrate it with. This is the first usage. The other one is, is for us to not expose private data. I mean, combine it with Open Web UI, which is a ChatGPT-like UI. Let me go there 1 moment, okay? This is the UI. It's similar to ChatGPT, but it works locally on my machine. You can see a local host. It runs with Docker, and it connects. It's a UI, very fancy UI that we will start asking questions and doing stuff. Okay, it's going to help us. What I saw 2 days ago is that now we can also run Hugging Face models. Okay, with Ollama. Keep this in mind. I think this has happened 2 days ago, so we can test and see other models as well, not just what Ollama offers on their website. Cool. Let me go back here on my presentation. That's great. Ollama, Open Web UI, and Postgres. I mean,
yeah. Okay. Yeah.
You know something.
Obviously.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. He knows something. Thank God. That's great. So, as I said, it's a multi-step process. We're going to see code, and we're going to go step by step from what we call AI-powered traditional code. I'm calling traditional because traditionally this is what we know. I mean, this is what we have been doing. We're still doing this, right, in a different way. And then we want to rethink this concept with Gen AI, okay? And we're going to show you some interesting stuff later on. Kostas?
I'm going to code. Okay.
Cool. All yours.
Okay. Cool. So actually, right here we have it ready because most probably we didn't have the time, to do it from scratch. But what I wanted to show is how we started in doing the traditional code, let's say generation, but AI powered. So before showing the actual code here, I can go back to
Chrome. There you
right
go.
here. And from what I have seen and what you have showed me is that I also have the option not only to choose Ollama, but maybe different models.
Yeah. I mean,
So
if you click on the model,
I can come here, and I can have
pick
more
one.
than one.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, Open Web UI, as you can see, it offers the ability to integrate with, with Anthropic models, with, with OpenAI models. We have, actually integrated with. It's very handy, and it offers also the option to run a prompt and see results on 2 different models, meaning that you can actually compare, which is more performant than the other. Do you want to add 2?
Okay.
Okay.
Should I choose ChatGPT?
Why not?
Okay. Why not?
I'm not paying the bill. You are.
Okay. Okay. So now I wanted to start doing my prompts in order to start creating my application from scratch. As we said before, what I want to create is a Quarkus application, which is going to expose an API that we will get a simple API that will get some users. The users are going to have a relation with some orders. So I need to create the models, right? And then at some point, I think that I'm going to need some test data. Yeah. But let's start with the prompt, see how it goes.
Yeah. I mean, normally we would...
Of course, I spent some more, sorry to interrupt, I spent some more time when I was starting to create. So that's why we have it there ready. But let's see how we started doing.
Yeah, and this is as you type, I can write. Thank you. And this is I think the learning curve of the prompts, right? I mean, writing proper prompts when generating code is something super important. I mean, in Agile Actors we have been running several. We're running several AI trainings at the moment. One of which is to make people understand what is an efficient prompt and how long it actually takes to build an efficient prompt for your needs. This is the learning curve for this stuff.
Am I going well? REST API?
I'd say just, Costa, just the user and the order.
Just the user?
Just the user and the order. Yeah,
Okay.
just the model. So Kostas now is going to use, also avoid writing Quarkus application because it's out of context for just a model, okay?
Oh, okay. So we just need the model.
Exactly. That's great. So Kostas now is typing, I want to create a Java model. Perhaps you want to add later on that you're going to use Panousis entities and stuff, but we're just showcasing how you actually used, the...
Okay, and I will just add, let's say, some basic attributes for the username and password.
Exactly. Well, the model will also suggest you stuff.
No. Okay, username and password and some suggested fields.
Okay.
I will also need a model.
That's great.
Order with suggested field, I guess.
That's great.
And I will now create the relationship, the one-to-many.
You just need to write that, just create a, a user with other relation. Don't care about it, right?
Okay.
This is going to be just a sample.
Okay. I will not because I have already created
That's
that.
why. So now, this is, you can see the difference. You can compare, what these two different models actually produce. And you can actually pick one. I've seen a couple of mistakes here. Not yours.
Obviously not.
It's not our fault.
It's
not always our fault. Okay. So the thing is that by starting and prompting, I can start integrating with the model and say, you've used doubles, okay, or you did use local datetime. I want to use double. Double. We know that precision in double is not good, right, because of the overflow. So when I say use big decimals, and the story will go on. Okay. The thing is that after this finishes, we're going to have two models as we actually want. Okay. But keep in mind that we assess what it produces. We are still the experts, right, in the game, and we are trying to have our assistant here to give us some really cool and quick stuff. Therefore, as soon as this finishes, we're going to take the code and move it where?
In our project.
Go there.
Okay.
There you go. So if you want to show the final, the final versions.
Yeah. Okay. This is for the user.
Exactly.
But here, we have.
It has several. As you can see, it has several fields. It also extends the correct the connect classes. We can see also the relation from the order. It didn't know about. Obviously, this is a proof of concept, so you will see us exposing the domain model in the API. Don't do this at home. Also you will see us injecting the repo in the API. Don't do this at home, right? It's just for presentation reasons, okay? We would create a 3-tier, architecture with service layers, etc., etc. But for this kind of work, we just wanted to keep. It's not our focus, right? Our focus is just to showcase, how we use these two different tools to do our job, okay? As you can see, Kostas, we have added UUIDs. It didn't add UUIDs, right? But we instructed the model to do stuff. Therefore, as soon as it finishes, we've got our code, okay? Again, then we can also tell the model to expose an API. You will see the static access, on the Panousis entity here. Don't do this at home. Just for concept. You could, I will stop saying this. Fine. And also, after this finishes, we always think, okay, we want to test it, okay? Data. We want data. What do we say, Costa?
We want data.
Yeah, but to whom?
Of course, we need to go back here.
Exactly, exactly. I mean,
and now we can
start typing, start typing.
Yeah.
I will tell the story behind you, okay? I will sit here and tell the story. So prior to having these tools to do the job, we didn't have a way for someone to tell them how the model is. Since this now remains in the context window, of the model, we can tell it, okay, create some sample data. I remember myself trying to find, on the internet, a service or something that I'm going to use in order to produce me some sample data. But at the very same time, I was exposing something that perhaps it's not something to be exposed, right? To be shared with the others on the public internet. Remember, we are on my machine now, okay? This, runs on my machine. Of course, I've integrated with OpenAI, not ChatGPT, okay? OpenAI, it's a different thing. It's an API from OpenAI which has different policy, okay? Which means that the retention and stuff, it's far more different and how they're using my data. But again, I would focus only on a local model. So I would remove ChatGPT for all latest, just keep the Llama 3.2. We're doing this just for presentation reasons, okay? Mm-hmm. Cool. As you can see now, we've got, SQL here that, we can actually use. And how do we use it, Costa?
But it also has the create tables, which we don't need.
We don't need it at the moment because Quarkus does the job for us. Exactly. We will showcase how Quarkus does the job.
Yeah, exactly. This is what you showed me some time ago, that we can just use the import SQL, which is going to be in the class path.
Exactly.
And this is just going, when the application is going to start, then it's going to feed the data, and we're going to have the data.
Exactly. So what Quarkus will do, because that's why we're using the power of Quarkus, is that upon startup, if you want to start, the
application.
Cool. Upon startup, it will do what? It would create, the tables in the database. This is a built-in mechanism for, creating, updating, whatever. Obviously, we use other tooling like Flyway or Liquidbase, other, migration tools for production systems. For this one, this is perfect. And also, we're using import SQL in the main class path. We wouldn't normally use it. Again, okay, it's not normal, but we use it in this for presentation reasons. And what it does, it, creates the tables and also inserts the data. Okay, it does something else also. If we go here and we write docker ps, you will see that it has also started the Postgres for us, right? So we don't have to do nothing, literally nothing, okay? Just creates a Postgres, connects, the framework. People will ask me, okay, how can I find the credentials now to connect to the database? Very, very simple. I'm visiting. Oops, no, this is not correct. Not correct, of course.
Not yet.
Not yet. I don't know actually why this came up. It shouldn't. Let me go here. If it says again, bye-bye, okay. Chromecast. Okay, this is the dev UI, of Quarkus. And you will see on dev services that it has all the configuration that I need to connect to this Postgres, okay? So, blazing fast, have the model, question the model, have my model, insert the data, etc. Would you like now to
test it?
To test it.
Yeah, thank God. Let's see.
Boom, that works. Okay.
So we have a running application.
We have a running application.
4 Java classes.
Exactly.
Just one file.
Well, we could have less. Don't sure. Anyway, but we have something, blazing fast with data that we can actually showcase. Okay. And we say we're finished, right?
Yes, but
what happens always?
The business always comes, and when you finish, they need something to change.
One more field, right? This is the question. We need one more field, one more filter, new group by, we need sales, we need several stuff, okay? And the very same time that this happens, our lives, our development lives become a bit miserable because this is a bit tedious, right? It's maintenance. We're not putting any thought process. It's not fun, okay? So what we were thinking with Kostas, right, is how can we make this a bit more dynamic, okay? How we can leverage the use of AI, and instead of rewriting the code again and again, to actually integrate, with the model in a way that, it's going to be our assistant to generate this, these statements. Shall I?
Yep.
Okay.
The stage is yours.
Thank you. Cool. Okay, let me go back now on my code. That's great. So I'm going to change now on another branch. Normally, I would write the code just to see the process and how fairly easy it is. We don't have the time about it. Okay, cool. Let me go now on my API. It's a bit more different. You will see that it's a bit more standard. It has constructor injection. Okay. And also it has an integration with a data repository, neither user or order. It's just a data repository, okay? And you will see that it has a query param called query that we will pass a natural language query. I mean, we want to say, I want the orders, I want the users, I want something, okay? And our goal is to translate this to a SQL query, okay? So let me go now on my repo. This is it. As you can see here, I mean, it has a private method that prior to this version, it was just this one, okay? This one and this statement. And as you can see on this statement, I'm calling something which is called a SQL generator service, create SQL query from natural language. If I visit this, okay, you will see this one, right? It's an interface. It's annotated with register AI service, which is gonna do all the integration, with the model. The model name is, it's optional, but I'm using it because I'm gonna do something else later on, okay? In the system message, I mean, if you are familiar with LLMs, system and user messages, a bit of a different story. And in here, you will see my prompt. I'm saying, this is you, this is your job. I want you to translate natural language queries into correct and optimized SQL queries. Use a provided schema for reference. That's a schema, okay? Ensure select statements are formatted and formatted, include all columns, include relations. All these were trial and error, right? If you would see me trying to write the proper prompt, and Quarkus helped me a lot on this one because as soon as I was changing something on my code, Quarkus was refreshing the context on the fly without, having me do anything. So it was very, very, very easy. But again, it was an error prompt process, right? I needed to create the right prompt for what I would like to do. I've added, the schema here. It's static. Later on, we might do something with metadata of the database and feed it directly on something like this. But, for this, we're fine. And also, I'm adding some directions, for the sports format. On the first version, I mean, if you run a select, asterisk, it will return just, the values, right? So no JSON. So if something is passed through without processing, how do I know the columns? So we started using perhaps some process functions, okay, that they can, not me, the model, that they can combine keys called names with values. And here's the response format. It also added backticks. It also added comments. It also added explanations. And my instruction is to remove everything, okay? I just want a pure, SQL query, okay? I'm also adding some query examples. It's always good to feed examples, okay? And then some content guidelines, because people would ask, how about dropping tables? If I don't add this one, right, drop table would work. Everything would be dropped. I mean, on the other hand, though, I would have a read-only transaction that just to preserve, any kind of commit on my database and changes. But anyway, we can do this thing right here and instruct the model just to avoid any kind of SQL issues, etc. Okay? And also insert update and delete statements. Also, the memory ID is just, for the small context window, just to remember what has been, what has run prior, so I can stitch together different commands under the same memory ID. And why I did this? Because if I go back here, as soon as I was getting some errors, I started, catching the exception here, SQL grammar and data exception, and I'm doing what? I'm kind of reprompting back and say, this query failed with the exception that I got, fix it, correct it, okay? And what I've seen is that it did 1, 2, 3 tries, and then it was correct. Not pure 100% what I wanted, but just gives you an idea about what we can actually do with reprompting, okay? Cool, so when this finishes, this method is gonna return back to me a JSON object of what I actually asked with the column name and, the actual value. I think that we have the same data. We haven't changed the domain at all. Everything remains the same. Okay, so let me start it. Oops, sorry about that. Okay, W clean. I'm also running a clean because sometimes it caches, but the first time it needs it. Okay. Quarkus starts. It's going to connect on the database, which is up and running. Costa?
Okay.
Am I doing fine?
Let's see the result.
Okay, that's great. So everything is up and running. I forgot to show you my configuration. Okay, I'm logging requests and responses because I want to see, what is being written and what I'm getting for a response. Okay, I've got in my class path 2 different providers, Ollama and OpenAI, because I want to compare results. Okay, at the moment though, I'm going to use Ollama with model Llama 3.2. As I said, we can, change models and see what, works better for us. Also use Hugging Face models now. And also, what I want to fine tune in terms of temperature, P, K, and also the timeout. You see a large timeout. I mean, obviously, it works on my machine, right? So resources are not unlimited. Okay, everything is up and running. So let me now go back. As I said, is it API users? It is API users. It's not an API users anymore, but nevertheless, let's use this one. And now I'm going to say, okay, query get all users. So what it does now, let me go back. I got the result. Let me go back just to see what has actually run. Okay, I can see the responses. This is the import here, and this is what is being said on Ollama on my local machine, right? Nothing leaves my machine at the moment. This is the content, okay. And this is the content of the user message, okay? And what I'm getting back as a response is exactly what I want, okay? I'm getting the query, querying the database, getting the data. As simple as this. And let me check now the response. As you can see, I got all the fields. Yes, including passwords, We can see later on if we can do something about it, okay? Now, let's do something different. It's nasty because it says users happy, okay? Let's get the orders now and see what it does. Supposedly, it's going to go back. It didn't return the correct result. It's fine. And that's why I'm going to play around a bit with the models, okay? So it has inside order ID, user ID. Of course, it didn't return me back what? Any kind of relation. Perhaps I would like to see this, okay? So if I go back and say, get all users with nested orders. Let's see what it does. And we might change a bit on OpenAI on this one. Okay, cool. I've got the response. Let me go back to see the query produced. This is the query produced. Whether it's good or bad, it's going to be assessed. It needs to be assessed all the time. Okay, but I've got results with missing fields, someone would say. Totally agreed. Totally agreed. Let me do a small change now. Let me use on application properties. Let me use now OpenAI with GPT-4o. Okay, you can see that I'm not touching, my running environment. So Quarkus is doing a refresh on the context and now using OpenAI, and you can see that it has obviously as a better model, right? That this one it has the correct context. Okay, so let's keep OpenAI for the time being.
Can we do something more complex?
Well, okay.
You always get the easy.
Yes, let's do some stuff, right? We have 11 minutes only. Okay, let's get total sales. Boom, total sales. Okay, let's get users having orders greater than 300. Not sure if it will work. Okay, there you go. I'm not sure if this is going to work either. It worked. Okay. You see me where I'm going, right? I mean, you can now think that I'm changing nothing. I'm not touching my code. I'm trying to think what I would like to get, from my data. And this is how it will go on, right? Nothing else would change. Let me get, Kostas, something else here. Get users, names. you see this? It's an interesting example because it's also opinionated. The model is opinionated. I said, get me the user names, and it got me first and last name because it is considered a name, right? Like it?
So with this one, I will not need to constantly do changes for the business.
That's the thing.
And I can give this one to the business.
Yeah, I would say, just get template. Someone might say, we might use GraphQL for this stuff, okay? I'm not sure if GraphQL can give me total sales, okay? Or anything, or for instance, get sales per day. I don't know if this can be done, right, with using GraphQL without touching anything. Okay, conscious of time, 9 minutes only and something. Someone would say, okay, Alex, how about security? I mean, I saw your API here returns what? The passwords. Someone might say, okay, it's a pass-through string, right? And it returns as, the headers make it JSON for the client. So how much we can interfere with, it's a question. Let me show you something now. I said, okay, can I do the following? Wait, let me roll back this one. Cool. And check out with security. So what I've done here is I've added an extra layer. Actually, I've added an annotation, okay, which implements an interceptor. It intercepts the outgoing payload, right? And it uses a new service. That's why I've added the model name, which is called security. And it says, remove any keys named after a username or password or phone or ID. This is your job, okay? So the story goes like this. Incoming request, integration with a model to get the query back, get the data, return the data to the client. Before returning the data, do the cleanups, right? I mean, remove whatever is considered as sensitive. And obviously, this is done here. I've annotated my method. And also, what is also interesting is that I'm not obliged to use the same model, right? So you will see that for SQL, I will use Olama. For security, I will use OpenAI. Okay? I'm not sure if context will work here, so I'm restarting my... and that's a fancy way not to expose your API keys to everyone. Security first. Security first. So get users, fingers crossed, we will not get back any passwords. It takes some more time. I've seen that, from a performance point of view, it's a bit more hungry in terms of time. But finally, we will get the response back. Just let me check if we're not having any kind of... There you go, right? It did the job. It did exactly what what I instructed. And if I remove something, from the prompt, it will, or add something on the prompt, it will later on do the job. Cool? Cool. 7 minutes. Let me go on my main branch because there is one, very interesting feature that the Quarkus team has also added. I've seen it this week, which is Guardrails. So the thing is that when you're writing, a service, that returns, that integrates with a model, you can also, let me add this on my class path. Great. So it does what? Get there. It validates the data. So what this guardrail does is it validates whether this is what I wanted this to be, a JSON, okay? If it is not a JSON, it reprompts the model. It says, what I did, programmatically, try catch the exception and then reprompt, it's something like this, but on the model, right? I'm not going to get any response if this is not valid, okay? Very cool feature. I haven't used it a lot, but it's a very good addition. Kostas, we missed anything?
No, I think that
Yeah, I think that point taken, right? I mean, this is the thing.
I think that we missed something, but it's for a next one. We haven't done anything with testing now. Huh. So how are we going to test all these things?
That's a very good question. And
but
I think
this is for
it's
for new season.
It's a very good question, and I think that there's a big conversation around testing the output of the model. It's going to be your turn next time, right? So next year here.
Yeah.
Okay. We don't know how things will be next year, though, with the models and AI. Cool. I think that this is, yeah, this is, oh, let me check. There we are, right? So this is what we just witnessed today. Of course, I mean, it's not perfect, right? Nothing is perfect. But for me, we wanted to showcase something which unleashes a bit, you know, what we can do with all these tools, because this is another tool, right? And this has come not only as an assistant for our day-to-day job, but also to start integrating, you know, with our applications. Our applications will have to go that way, nevertheless, okay? We will lose something, we will get something, but we need to take this logical mind shift towards start utilizing all these great tools. I remember, it's like, I mean, for those who were writing Java prior to Spring, and Spring came to their lives, they weren't using it because they did learn something different. Or, you know, people, you know, they were using Spring, they want to use Quarkus, but they're not sure if this will now make it for them. So this kind of is a resistance to change. And the thing is that we need to start thinking differently. What you also witnessed today is part of Agile Actors, right, organization, as a culture. You did see the coaching culture. I mean, we did kind of play this, you know, role of coaching and coachee. We changed roles because coach becomes a coachee and the coachee becomes coach. And this is one of our 3 pillars in Agile Actors, the continuous coaching. This is what we do essentially, right? I mean, this could be a coaching session in Agile Actors. Continuous learning, trainings. This session was presented differently in everyone Agile Actors, and it is recorded for everyone to see what has been done. And practice, of course, without, you know, without practice, without real clients, without being, you know, on one team of a client, we would be a university. But we're not a university, right? We are, you know, we're an organization that, you know, partners 13 companies. And also, we're doing a lot of stuff in AI because we're shifting towards becoming AI experts on the field. A lot of trainings at the moment, which are taking place. Our lovely data and AI chapter lead is making a lot of work. Because the thing is that we want to focus on how we can transform all these tedious tasks. It is tedious, right? I mean, to go back and, you know, add a new field, change a bit of query, etc. Right? Having someone to do it for you, it's going to make our lives easier, and we will just start focusing on what makes sense to us. This is the roadmap of what we have done and what we're planning to do on trainings. A lot of stuff. You'll see that the content for prompt engineering started last year on September. I mean, it's a 40-page, let's say, guideline for writing proper prompts. It's a huge one. Potentially, we will write a proper prompt to make it a bit smaller. And now we are in the process of start building real use cases on different programming languages. Python, TypeScript, Java, whatever. For Java, we're going to use Quarkus, of course, because this, as you can see, the easiness that it, you know, gives us to us and the integration with the models is a no-brainer. Yeah, I mean, some content about what we have done so far. Yeah, I think that we've done it, right? And this is the vision of Agile Actors, right? This is what we're trying to achieve. We want to be the environment of choice of ambitious professionals, right? Because we want to be together with all these people who want to make, you know, themselves the better version of themselves, right? And we can give them, as I said, the coaching, the training, right? And together we can go forward. Yeah, we did it, right? Yeah. Okay, cool. That's all, actually. I'm going to wait for questions, but as soon as the questions are going to, people are thinking now, right? So we need to give some time for people to think, right? What question they're going to ask. Feel free, everyone. I will try to do something from the future, as I said, because future is here. So please forget that I'm here. Talk to Kostas now. Any questions from the first guys here?
Okay, I think any questions will be answered.
Okay, cool. So I have 1 minute to do something from the future, okay? Cool.
You got 51 seconds.
Great. It's enough. It's enough. Okay, cool. Let me stop this. Having a static HTML page saying, oops. I don't know if it's going to work. It did work the previous time. So Nikki, so in large font, centered. I don't know, is anyone using cursor? Anyone using cursor? No one? Okay, cool. So cursor uses Anthropic, Claude 3.5 Sonnet, and the composer feature it has, it's going to create the code for me, right? So that's why I said that most probably the time is enough. Page is here. As I can see, it's correct. Okay, cool. It's telling me what to do. Let me check my POM.xml. It's wrong, right? So I will say I need the full POM.xml. And then I'm going to accept it. You don't have time.
Go on, finish it.
This is what people say to us all the time, right? I mean, don't feel pressure. Accept all. So terminal, my new terminal. Fingers crossed, it's going to work. So if you see what it did, it has the entire POM.xml with dependencies, etc. It has a static page where it should be. I don't know what to run. I'm going to say run Quarkus. It's going to fill now the command. Great, thank you. It doesn't have the wrapper, so I would have to create the wrapper. And, oops, sorry. Let's see. There you go.
Okay.
It was quick. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.